Hello there, and welcome to Women's Business.
My name is Dr. Marianne Shallcross Smith, known to most as Dr. Daycare, and this is my co-host, Amy Vogel. We'd like to welcome you to our mentoring program designed to educate our community on issues facing working women. We will be speaking to our guests in the areas art, sciences, health, education, law, medicine, politics, community service, military, and business.
The goal of the show is to provide information that comes only from personal experience and to pass this information down to our daughters, nieces, neighbors, family, and friends. Much of the content will relate to the guest speaker's journey in their profession, what they have learned most about this process, and what they wished they had known before this journey began. Since women-owned businesses are the fastest growing sector of our economy, my guests will close with what lesson they would like to pass on to the viewing audience.
Hello there, and thank you for joining us on Women's Business. We are honored to welcome Eva-Marie Mancuso from Close to Kids, Rhode Island.
How are
It's a
you?
nonprofit?
It is.
Wow.
It is. It's the next chapter. Marianne and I call it Chapter 2, and there's lots of chapters in our books.
Yes, there is.
So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's very exciting. We're almost to 2 years open. We've given out over 3,000 wardrobes, which equal $500,000 in thrift store value. So we're just finishing our 990, and we're very excited about that we've
That's amazing.
crossed the line. Yeah,
That is
yeah.
simply amazing. So what is Closed to Kids?
So what we do is we give away clothes to children in need. Very simply, we're in Providence. We have great space, and I always give kudos to Joe Paolino and Paolino Properties because we pay pennies on the dollar for the space we have.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah. So when you walk in, it's a shopping experience. If you were to walk in, you would think it was a high-end thrift store. You're met with a personal shopper. We have 30 full-time volunteers who right now are in the shop working with kids. And they meet the families, and our entire shop is in English and in Spanish.
Oh, how wonderful.
So yeah, we try to make people feel very comfortable, and obviously we do make people feel comfortable because they can come back twice a year, and they refer their friends. So it's
That's
really a terrific model, not because we're doing it, but it serves such a need. So basically what happens is people make appointments. It's all by appointment.
I was just going to ask,
Right.
it's all by appointment.
All
So
by
is your
appointment.
door always, do you have open hours, or is that why you do the appointments
Right.
to make sure someone's there?
Right. We do Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday because I still practice law part-time too.
Imagine that.
Yeah, keeps me out of trouble. Keeps me out of trouble.
Sure it does.
And so what we do is we're open Tuesday and Thursday mornings, and then Wednesday afternoons. Going into the summer, we'll do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday mornings, and then one Saturday a month. And what we do is we open on Wednesdays after school so that the kids can come in and shop with their moms. And we give them a shopping experience. When they come in, they get 5 tops, 4 bottoms, 5 new pairs of underwear, 5 new pairs of socks, a pair of shoes, and a coat. And then we have all the accessories. Just like today, we're wearing jewelry and a pin and sometimes a scarf, what have you. We do the same thing. So we offer the kids that whole shopping experience. We have dressing rooms. Everything is clean and pressed and tagged.
That's amazing.
On racks, so they actually have a shopping experience. And then at the end, they check out and get a bag with their name on it and everything but a bill. You know.
That's amazing. So where do you get all these clothes and items?
Well, that's why I'm here, lady.
Okay, all righty. I think we have some we can donate.
my
My
gosh.
goodness
Yeah,
gracious.
Right. So we serve children ages 5 to 19.
Okay, it's
So
good to
we
know.
go the whole gamut. Everything from just like our kids, some like to shop in, some girls like to shop in the boys department, some boys like to shop in the girls department,
Yeah.
some like tight t-shirts, some like loose, what have you. We have it all. So what we do is we do clothing drives in the community, and we accept donations when we're open because we want to see the people. We
Yep.
don't have any bins.
Yeah.
Our motto is if we'll put it on our children, we'll put it on the children we service.
That's
so
amazing.
that's how we do it. And right now, the community has responded in a big way, and I applaud you for having us on, because I'll tell anybody, stand on the courthouse steps and scream it, because that's what keeps us going, is being able to do clothing. We raise about $175,000 a year, and that keeps us able to draw small salaries for staff, and then also to pay all of the utilities, buy the socks and the underwear.
I was going to say the underwear and
And
socks.
also fill in the racks. We're not going to get special sizes, obviously, and being a lifetime special sizer, it's something that is, how do you like that?
I like special size. That's my new vocabulary. Well, thank you, Eva-Marie.
Well, what I like to do is to say we want to have something for everyone and have a lot of choice. So we have to, sometimes we have to buy. But when I say buy, Marianne, who's my business partner, Marianne Baldwin, and I were law school buddies and have been friends for a lot of years. And her sister is actually in merchandising. That's what she did for many years. So
that works
I
out
always
well.
tell Marianne and I are just the beauties. She's the real brains. She knows how to do it. So what we do is they go out and shop thrift stores. Marianne lives in Boston, so they shop.
High end.
They shop everywhere. And so what we do is, what they do is go out to the thrift shops and really pay pennies on the dollar so that we can really maximize our money. We just had a fundraising event, and I was able to tell our sponsors, what people that support us, is that for every dollar they give us, we turn it into two.
That's
So
amazing.
we've really used our legal training, our negotiation training, to be able to get the best for the kids in Providence County. And that's the other thing that's important too. There's a misnomer that, it's, all the poverty is just in Providence, Pawtucket, Central Falls, Woonsocket,
it's
the
everywhere.
core. It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
We have
Thank you for mentioning that.
Right.
That's
We have students in Lincoln, in Cumberland,
100%.
in
Barrington.
Situate,
Yep.
that come in. We service all of Providence County,
Okay.
and so what we do is we like to talk about that when we're out in the public, because it's a lot of what we're dealing with is working poor. And the reason that I know it's people that are working and not just sitting around waiting for things is that when we do the appointments, and Marianne and I do mostly all of the appointments
Really?
on the phone. Oh yeah.
That's
Oh
amazing.
yeah.
How do you get the time to do this?
We have unbelievable volunteers.
You get that
That's
energy
how we
too.
do it.
You get
And,
that energy. You got the
well,
energy. You have it.
in the beginning, we're not even 2 years old, and for a thriving nonprofit, you have to be the face of the
Yes, you
nonprofit.
do. Yes, you do.
We're out there, and also to really learn the people that are coming in. We're talking to them on the phone. So when you say, "Can you come in on Tuesday at 12 o'clock?" They're going through the mental hoops just like we are. So that's how I know they're working. Well, I drop the kids off at this time, and then I go to school part-time, and then I do this, and maybe I got to pick up my mother. Maybe I'm taking care of an elderly grandparent. All the gamut, you know? So that's
The
how
real
I
life.
know.
The real life.
That's how I know it's
Yeah.
not people just saying, "Oh, great, I'm here to get a free handout."
So there's no application process, like written application?
What we do, and that's a great question, is as long as they're either free and reduced lunch eligible,
Oh, perfect.
or get referred by a social service agency.
That makes it easy, because
Right.
they're already filling out that paperwork.
Right,
Why
right.
duplicate the service?
And plus, our entire shop is bilingual. So, and Marianne and I are not bilingual. We're doing pretty well with our Spanish.
Right,
but,
that's awesome.
But we have volunteers that
That are.
are. And so what we're trying to do is make it effortless. It's all about making sure kids have clothing to go to school, to have the self-esteem so that they can start the day at least feeling good about themselves. When I was chair of the Board of Education, I would hear from teachers saying, Eva, you want to raise the scores, you want to do all this fancy stuff.
Right.
We want to get kids to come to school.
Basic needs.
Right. Yeah.
Basic Maslow needs, right?
Right.
Want them to eat a healthy
Right,
breakfast, healthy
right.
lunch.
And the other thing that I thought was important too is this is not being done in Rhode Island.
Oh.
So the other thing is when we first were going to start something, and it was Marianne's brainchild, because there's a close to kids in Florida and one in Denver. And when Marianne lived in Denver, she read it in the newspaper, and it resonated with her.
Yep.
And so several years later, when we were talking about what we were going to do in our next chapter, she would recall that.
That's amazing.
From living there. And so it's very important for people to realize that this is a resource for them, and it's all we do. So what we do really
You're
well.
focused on that.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
the focus. You know, people will call, oh, do you do prom dresses? And we'll say, no, but Providence Princess does.
Yep.
You know, or
So
in
you
the
can refer them
schools.
out.
Exactly. And the other thing, too, is we want teachers to be able to teach. They need to have a place. They don't need to have their own coat closet, you know, where they give away
Correct.
clothes to kids clothes
Yeah.
for children, you know, that don't have it. They need to be able to send them to us. So we get teacher referrals.
Also, they get the experience of shopping, really, not like
And
a handout in a bag.
Exactly.
They're getting the whole experience of
Exactly.
shopping, which
And
is
picking out what
fabulous.
they like.
Picking what they like.
Right.
Not a hat and a mittens and a top and a bag.
Right.
They get to choose.
Right, right.
Yeah, fantastic.
So that's the whole idea, is that it just brings the self-esteem so they can go to school. The other thing that I've learned so much through this, I grew up in Cranston.
Yep.
You know,
Hey,
Cranston.
did you hear the news this
you know.
morning?
I did. I know. Number two.
A friend of mine, lifelong liver in
Warwick.
Lincoln, and she told me last week she sold a house and bought a house in Cranston.
Yeah.
So as soon as I leave the show, I'm going to say, Sarah, you have made the number 2 city.
What is it, population, right?
Right.
Yes,
Over Warwick?
population.
Right, yes.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
good.
42% free and reduced lunch.
How much?
42%.
I would have never guessed that.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
Lots of customers.
Right. So when I heard that, because you know, I know my dad was a police officer, state trooper, and my mother was the school secretary, and we were about as average as they come. You know, typical,
Very typical.
3 generations in a house. You
Yeah.
know, my parents bought my grandparents' house, and my grandparents never left.
Yep.
You know?
Yes.
Right. Exactly.
Kind of the house my mother lives in right now.
Exactly. Well, you know what, Amy? It's a lot of our age group.
It's a lot of our age. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's what we
gotta
did.
stick up for each other. I
That's
like
right.
that.
Yeah. So watch out.
It catches on aim.
You got 2 grandmothers on either
Yeah,
side. Watch out.
exactly. Exactly.
2 professional working grandmothers. This is even better.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. You know, I say that all the time when kids come into the shop. You know, you meet them where they're at,
Yeah.
and like
I can see
all
you
of
doing
our
that.
volunteers smile the way we do. And the kids say hello, you know, hola,
Yeah.
and come in and they shop and they feel so good about themselves
That's
when they
great.
leave. And then they tell their friends, and that's why we're continuing to be busy. We will close in July for a couple of weeks. For 2 reasons. First of all, so we can restock everything, getting ready
Yep.
for back to school.
back to school.
And second of all, people aren't focused in July in
No,
Rhode Island.
it's
They-
vacation time.
Exactly.
We're in the
Rhode
ocean
Island.
state for a reason.
Exactly,
Get
exactly.
to the ocean.
So even now, this is our slow period,
Mm-hmm.
just because it's just starting to get warm.
Yeah.
So now when I go in today, the phones will have rung off the hook because it was beautiful over the weekend.
Yeah, and everyone needs
So
shorts.
now it's all of a sudden summer clothes, and families can shop twice in a school year. So that's very in a calendar year.
Yep, so they have
that's very
seasons.
important. Exactly.
Oh, okay.
And that's foreign to some of our shoppers because they're not used to changing out clothes.
Yep.
We've had moms tell us, "Well, I just cut the jeans."
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
So
Wow.
they come in and they see everything. And we have, you know, the whole, like I say, the whole gamut of clothes, and it's a great place. 77 Reservoir Avenue. We're on a bus
77
route.
resident-
Oh, that's
Yes,
perfect.
you
We're
are.
on a bus
It's
route.
very important.
And we're also easily accessible. We have free parking right at our door.
That's in Providence?
In Providence.
That's
In
amazing.
Providence, in Mashpug Commons. So it's in the parking lot of the Alvarez High School.
Okay.
There's a few things that I'm very proud of. We also service, and if I get teared up, it's because I do it every time, all the newcomers to this country.
Oh, that's
so
amazing.
through both Dorcas International and the Diocese of Providence, when kids come in, they come to us.
Good.
So we've had children from the Congo, from
Isn't it amazing?
Nigeria, from Guatemala, coming
What a
in with the
service.
clothes on,
On
their
their
back.
back.
That's it, right?
Especially in the wintertime.
Especially.
You know, when they
Come from a
realize
different
exactly
climate
a
completely.
completely different climate. So I'm really, really proud of that.
That's amazing.
The word's getting out. Like I said, we have 37 community partners right now. Connect for Health at Hasbro. As they see the kids and the need, they know that we're here. So we're really getting out in the community so that people know that we're there.
So you said your friend and your partner, she saw this in Denver, correct?
Right,
So
right.
are you part? Is it like a nonprofit franchise, or do you just create a new regional area of it?
Another great question. It's not a franchise in
Yeah.
what we would know in business to be a
Okay.
franchise, but we have an affiliate agreement.
Affiliate.
Got it.
So it was started in 2002 in Pinellas County in Florida with 2 moms sitting at the kitchen table.
That's amazing.
One
I
a
believe that.
retired school teacher, Jody Ide, who was just here for our fundraiser. She came in and told us about how it started, and in 2002 saying, you know, we have kids that can't go out for recess because they don't have a spring jacket. And that's how it started.
Yeah.
So we really were able to get our 501c3 very quickly because
That's great.
it's
Because that
a-
can be a very daunting process.
It's a known. Well, that's where the being
That-
a lawyer comes.
That does help. that's resourceful, actually.
Exactly.
Really? How many years it took
Exactly.
me?
Exactly. So yeah, we had it. We applied in February and we got it in June.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's record breaking.
Right.
That's
so,
fantastic.
Because every T was crossed, every I was
Yeah.
dotted from the beginning, and we were able to say, in Florida they do this, in Denver they
There's
do
some
that.
history.
Also, at the same time we opened, there's a small closed to kids that open in Fairfield County.
Oh,
Just
in
a
Connecticut?
small one in Connecticut.
Oh, very
yes.
nice.
They're in with the Boys and Girls Club, so they're
nice.
started.
That's
Good
perfect.
fit.
And what's really nice is that we didn't have to start from ground zero on what the place would look like. So if you went into Florida, like one of our volunteers was on vacation there and went into Florida to look at it, and he actually came back with a lot of ideas and
That's great.
started painting different colors on the walls and what have you. But
wow.
basically, if you went in, you would see the same thing. The other thing also is the computer programs. So I can track, because the metrics are very important in
Yep.
nonprofits. I can track by zip code, by
Oh, wow.
by
Now, did they have their own computer
age.
program?
They did.
That's
and so we
amazing.
bought.
That's
we
huge.
bought that from the developer, and we were able to get started. We're actually going through some refining right now, but the back end part of it was very important. And Marianne and I wanted to do the service. We didn't want to start from the beginning. Okay, and
Yeah.
plus they're doing so great.
You got a great
Yeah, why
foundation.
recreate
It's a
the wheel?
wonderful foundation to build upon.
They have things that we've built upon, which is really fun, like the Undie 500. Have a party and
Undie
try to get
500.
500 pairs of underwear.
That's
or
awesome.
socks in the city party. Again, that's it.
That's
I was
awesome.
just at the Paw Socks this past weekend. We were the Paws for Cause this past weekend, and they said, "Boy, that's a great thing." Socks. Excuse me, socks in the city. That's a
That's
great
So
thing.
It's catchy.
kindergarten through adolescence. And
All the way up through GED.
Oh, GED, okay.
Oh yeah, all the way up.
Oh, fantastic.
All the way up.
That's
Yep.
GED.
If they're in school still working on the
Yep.
high school education,
That's
that's
fantastic,
it.
yep.
Including newcomers. So
I
a lot
get
of
it.
times the newcomers come
Could
in
be
and they're
older, yeah,
17 or
yeah.
18, but they're at Dorcas in the newcomers program.
So how do we get donations to you?
Very easy. We're
Okay.
open. Like I said, we have a very interactive website. Everything is the
the
referral
website.
forms.
Yep.
It's www.close2kidsri.org. www.close2kidsri.org. And that's very important because everything is there. It'll give you our hours. It'll give you when we're open seasonally. It'll let you know how to refer someone. So anybody in the community, that's what we say. We have church affiliates. We have synagogue affiliates.
That's amazing.
Social workers, pediatricians, doctors.
So much. I have a daughter who's almost 8, and we just every season we're clearing it out because
Right.
she's growing like a weed.
Absolutely.
Nice
And I make
clothes.
piles, and usually I just put them in those bins, like the white bins, the yellow bins. But now
We
I
know
feel
where
like
we're
it's going
going.
to get
Come on
actually
over.
go somewhere.
Right,
Because
right.
I'm like, oh, it's in a bin. Hopefully it goes somewhere.
Right.
And you got a grandmother who loves to shop for her grandkids.
Yes.
You know what I said? We love grandmothers. Because grandmothers will come in and they'll say, "Oh, we missed the size." We're like, "Great." They have the tags
With
on
the
it.
tags on it, yes.
Right.
I missed that size. She grew too fast. Or he grew too fast. Yeah.
Right. No, it's very uplifting. And then
That is.
everybody that comes in, either Marianne or I meet them and we give them a short tour, so that they see where it's going to. The other thing that's very important is we have the same tax forms that everybody else
Okay.
does. So we have the 501c3 form.
Yep.
They get the tax write-off. Whatever's left of those, we won't talk about that. That'll be another political subject. We try to stay away from that
Yes.
and close to kids. But we have a lot of people, and people lead by example. I had 2 terrific experiences this past week. One, Colonel Clements from the Providence Police Department called me on Saturday morning and said, "Eve, I got 10 bags of clothes. My daughter's finally cleaned out."
Oh, that's amazing.
And Jeannie Nada, I don't know her marriage name, but she's the superintendent of schools in Cranston.
Yep.
She did the
yes.
same thing.
Oh, wow.
So the leadership in Pawtucket is fabulous. The Cozy and
Yep,
Cozy is
right in the
amazing.
schools.
let me tell you something. Mary Perella and Superintendent Patty, I'm going to forget her last name because it's,
know.
But she was on the news because she was the only school that opened that random snowstorm
Yeah.
that wasn't.
She is amazing. They know how to do it, What we say all the time is we have to meet people where they're at. Our biggest challenge right now is being able to get kids in to shop.
Okay.
You know, moms don't have cars.
Cars, transportation is
Transportation,
a
it
hurdle.
costs money. I can tell you that I have made appointments for people that they'll ask to come on the 1st or 2nd of the month when they get their check.
Yeah.
So that's our biggest hurdle right now. So we're trying to get community-based people to say, you know, lend a hand that way.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm really proud of, I mentioned that the Diocese of Providence has the newcomers. Well, my parish at Christ the King at URI, we have volunteers that will come up from Kingston,
All the way to Providence.
pick up the families and bring them in to shop.
That's amazing.
So, you know, there's a lot of people out there that are willing to help. You know, I
Sure.
always say time, talent, and treasure, whatever you can do to help us, we'll take it. But it's those kinds of things that you've got to find a way to make it easy, because remember, it's all about the kids.
Yeah. 100%.
And the kids need to get in to be able to shop and experience what we see them experience.
There's so much lessons in shopping, believe it or not.
Right.
It's like learning sizes, learning color, learning coordination, all that, learning to be served. You know, people come in and helping you that. There's a whole world in shopping
Social
out there.
skills that
Social
they never-
skills, yeah. That's a whole piece that you're bringing to the table that will really enhance kids' lives.
You know what I find, Marianne, too, is that when we're going to an event, so one of the extras we have are dresses, just regular dresses, and suit jackets for the boys, and ties, lots of ties. Jim Hummel came in, and
good
he
old
liked
Jim.
one of our ties, so I traded him 1 for 6. I thought that was a pretty good
Hey,
Every once in a while, you'll see him on the Lively, and I'll
see
get
him.
a text from him, and he says, "Got the tie on today."
I can see him doing that.
So what we do is we try to tell kids that there's certain ways to dress for certain things. And I tell them, just like today, I knew I was going to be on TV, so I don't have my, I don't have my T-shirt on and old jeans.
Yes.
I'm dressed
Yeah.
for the occasion. So you try to do a little bit of that education as well about
Especially
certain
for
ways.
newcomers that are new to this country. Every country's so different. You're trying to teach them the values and traditions here.
Right.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
And also,
A lot of
remember,
changes.
some of the moms have not had the luxuries that we've had to be
100%.
able to do things to teach kids that this is the way you dress for it. So
Yep.
when we provide that opportunity, we also provide that really nice education piece. We have men and women that volunteer in our shop. So kids, we have bilingual people that come in and volunteer with us, so we're always looking for volunteers.
I want to share one of the things that I do from a perspective. I travel all over the world. that's one of my things I give back to myself. And I actually have a bag in my laundry room, and I put just a little gentle stain or oak grown it up and down, in and out, and I'll put it in the bag. And when I go on vacation, I'll bring those clothes with me. And I've traveled all over the world. I have been in huts, I have been in farms, I have been everywhere. And I will leave those clothes behind for those families.
Oh, wow.
It's only my little bit of giving back, you know what I'm saying? So whatever goes in my suitcase, 90% of it does never come back to my home.
Marianne, as we say all the time, it truly takes a village, right?
It does. Someone gave me that
because-
idea like 20 years ago, and I had never stopped doing it. I don't have the children's clothes, but I also, I know adults' clothes, but and I'll
Right.
put them next to the trash can in case they want to trash them. But you better believe when I come back, there's always a little note, thank you very much.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right,
Pass on.
right. Well, I've done that, but I do it by size. So as I grow out of the size,
I relate to that too.
yeah. Mine usually don't have stains on them. They usually just get, they shrink in your
Yeah,
closet.
I was trying to be nice.
So Close to Kids is, like I said, we're almost in our second year.
amazing.
You have done
And,
tremendous in just 2 years.
A lot of great contacts.
And
yeah.
Marianne and I are so hard on each other. We're like, did you raise any money today? Did you get any donations today? We go back and forth, and then sometimes we take that breath and say, look at where we've come from.
geez.
Look at all those
And,
families you've impacted.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We also have child cares in inner cities, and a lot of the children on what they call on CCAP
Right.
donations as it relates to they pay their child care tuition.
Yep.
So if you want us, my marketing director's right there, she's probably listening to us, wonderful Rebecca, we can get flyers out to the kids for you.
That would be
We
great.
have 2 facilities in Pawtucket and 1 in South Providence. We'd
That's
love
great.
to, and our other facilities too.
That's great.
Absolutely. We can send out flyers, and if you don't have time to design them, we can design them too. Rebecca's amazing, and she's listened to the show. She's behind the scenes with Aria.
Yeah.
So we can make that happen any way we can. If you have a fundraiser, we're going to make donations.
Yep. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'll do all of the above.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
of the
really.
above.
When it comes to kids, you can count on us. Yeah.
Right, Right, and you know, the idea is that there's so many obstacles to learning, especially kids that come in with a different language starting out. You know, just reading the Providence Journal this morning, there's another article about how many languages are in our schools. So if we can do a very small part where they come in, think about how good you feel when you are dressed well,
Oh, 100%.
right? And
Changes your
what we
whole-
find with our kids is that they only want to just look like everybody else. You know,
all
they're
they
not
do.
looking for the high designer ends or anything else. They
no.
want the skinny jeans. They want the
Yes.
stuff that looks just like everybody else,
Yeah.
so that they just blend in.
They just want to fit
Fit
in.
in,
That's it,
absolutely,
no matter what size.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, so it's all really good.
That's
Very
amazing.
good.
I
Yeah.
can't believe you've only been doing this for 2 years. I feel like you've been doing it like 20 years.
Yeah. Well, so don't we some days, I'll tell you. Especially when, you know, we get a call, okay, I said I can never have anything other than an SUV because my car's always filled,
sure.
you know? And and it's really nice because every time I go somewhere, people will say, oh, I have clothes for you.
They put 'em right in the back.
Exactly. Put them right in the car and we go from there. The other thing that I want to take a shout out to is, like, right now in the shop, Blue Cross is in. And what they do, Blue Cross and Hasbro, they send over teams of people to help us in the shop to volunteer.
sure.
And boy, when you have an extra 10 hands
It's
on, or
amazing.
you know, 15 hands or 20 hands on, whatever, in the shop, we can really process it. Because remember, everything comes in, we inspect it,
Yep.
we tag it if it needs to be washed. We have washer and dryer right on scene, and a steamer. I always tell people, I'm out there with my scrub board. Not.
I love a steamer though.
Well, the steamer's pretty cool. The steamer's pretty cool. But, you know, that's what we do. So our volunteers not only work in the shop, but they also work in the back end part of it as well. Because you can imagine, if we service 20 to 25 children a day, multiply it by 5,
Yep.
you know, for the tops, and 4 by the pants,
Yeah,
and then
that's
the
a lot.
underwear and socks. It's a lot to go out.
So you have the back of the house basically all are organized.
Well, actually, it's the side of the house.
side,
We have
okay.
we're side by side.
Okay.
And again, Palino Properties, we pay pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
We have one area where they drop off, and that's where it's all inspected, tagged, washed and dried, steamed.
That's amazing.
And then so it's almost a mirror of what the shop looks
Looks
like
on the
right
other-
next door. And then we take things back and forth as the racks start to empty.
That's amazing.
So yeah.
And mostly volunteers.
Yes.
That's
Oh, yes.
amazing.
Yeah, all volunteers except Patty and I. That's it. And it's just, you know, it's very small compared to what, you know, to what we do. So,
That's
We have like
amazing.
a minute left, and I'm just quick curious, who was your mentor as a child? Because I would love to get to know them. They have absolutely given you some really, really, really good.
thank you.
Wonderful.
I had an unbelievable mother
Okay.
and an unbelievable father.
Wow.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, they didn't talk about volunteerism. They didn't talk about community and getting involved. They
modeled
just did
They
it.
did
They
it.
did it. They did it.
With
Yep.
no conversations.
Perfect.
There
Yep.
was no discussion. My
Beautiful.
father was the football coach. My mother was the cheerleading coach. My brother played football. I cheerleaded.
Got it.
When I didn't want to cheerlead anymore, then I was a statistician. Everybody had a role. Everybody had a
was part of
role.
your family culture.
My grandparents ran the concession stand.
That's
so,
great. That's
you know.
great. You got to make
Wonderful
it.
role models.
As you said before, it takes a village.
All Edgewood, you know, all Edgewood models and
Wow.
goals. So
Wow.
yeah.
That is
Thank you so
wonderful.
very much. This has been an absolutely wonderful show, Eva. Close to kids, Rhode Island. Absolutely. You can count on us.
Thank
We
you,
will be
Marianne.
sending,
Thanks, Amy.
Thank
something
you.
your way.
It was great to come, and please have us back again.
Oh, we will.
And I'm going to invite both of you to come out to the shop
We're
and see
coming.
it.
We're
I'm
definitely
definitely
coming.
coming.
Thank you very
Definitely. And
much.
I'll volunteer.
Yes.